10 times, the world almost ended and nobody realized how close it was. The world has come terrifyingly close to disaster many times throughout modern history. These are 10 moments in chronological order where everything could have gone very differently. 1900, Flannan Isles lighthouse disappearance. This is the Flannan Isles lighthouse mystery. 3 lighthouse keepers were stationed on a remote island off the coast of Scotland. Their job was simple: keep the light running and survive the isolation. But when a relief crew arrived in December 1900, something was wrong. The lighthouse was still functioning normally, but the 3 men inside had completely vanished. No struggle was visible, and no distress signal was ever sent. The door was locked and the table was set as if they had just stepped away. The only strange detail was a single overturned chair. No bodies were ever found, and to this day, no one knows what happened on that island. In 1908, something massive exploded over Siberia. The blast flattened over 2,000 square kilometers of forest. Millions of trees were knocked down as if a giant hand had swept across the land. People hundreds of miles away reported feeling the shockwave. But when scientists later arrived, something was strange. There was no crater, no clear impact site, nothing that explained what caused such destruction. Even today, the exact cause remains uncertain.
1917 Halifax explosion. The SS Mont Blanc explosion. In 1917, a heavily loaded explosive ship entered Halifax harbor after a collision and caught fire. The ship was drifting, burning, slowly moving toward a populated city. People gathered along the shoreline watching the fire, unaware of what the ship was carrying. Within minutes, the vessel detonated. The explosion was so powerful it destroyed large parts of Halifax in an instant, leveling entire districts and creating massive devastation. It remains one of the largest non-nuclear explosions ever recorded.
1937, the Hindenburg disaster. The Hindenburg airship approached its landing in New Jersey after a long transatlantic flight. Everything seemed routine until it wasn't. A sudden fire erupted on board. Within seconds, the massive airship was engulfed in flames. Witnesses on the ground watched in horror as the structure collapsed in under a minute. What was supposed to be a landing turned into one of the most iconic disasters ever captured on film. 1940 Tacoma Bridge collapse. A brand new suspension bridge in Washington began behaving strangely in strong winds. At first, it gently swayed, then it started twisting. The movement became more violent, almost impossible to believe. The entire structure appeared to ripple like fabric in the wind. Engineers could only watch as the bridge slowly tore itself apart. Finally, it collapsed into the water below. The 1961 Goldsboro B-52 crash is one of the closest calls in U.S. history. In 1961, a B-52 bomber broke apart mid-air over North Carolina while carrying nuclear weapons. During the crash, multiple nuclear bombs were released unintentionally. One of those bombs came extremely close to detonating. Later investigations revealed that several safety mechanisms had failed or were barely holding. If even one more step had gone wrong, a nuclear explosion could have occurred on American soil. 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis. In 1962, the world discovered that Soviet nuclear missiles had been secretly placed just 90 miles from the United States. For 13 days, both superpowers entered full military readiness. Nuclear weapons were prepared on both sides. One wrong decision could have triggered global war. At its peak, the world stood closer to nuclear conflict than at any other point in history. The 1983 Soviet nuclear false alarm incident. In 1983, Soviet systems suddenly reported incoming nuclear missiles from the United States. The protocol was simple: escalate immediately. But one officer hesitated. Something about the alert didn't feel right. He chose not to report it as a confirmed attack. Moments later, it became clear the system was wrong. A technical glitch had almost triggered a nuclear response. His decision may have prevented nuclear war. 1986 Lake Nyos disaster. In 1986, a quiet lake in Cameroon suddenly released a massive invisible cloud of carbon dioxide gas. There was no warning, no sound, no explosion. The gas spread silently through nearby villages while people were asleep. By morning, thousands of people and animals were dead. It was one of the most unusual and invisible natural disasters ever recorded. 1986 Chernobyl. This is the Chernobyl disaster. In 1986, a nuclear reactor in Chernobyl suffered a catastrophic failure during a safety test. The explosion released massive amounts of radioactive material into the atmosphere. Entire cities were evacuated permanently. The disaster became one of the worst nuclear accidents in history,